Whoa! What?
Whoa.
What happened?
So these were the opening moves to this incredible game between Domoraju Gukesh with white, the man who's playing for a world championship later this year, and Magnus Carlsen with black. Needs no introduction. It's the Aimchess Rapid 2022 knockout stages, online chess, rapid time control, and the clocks are on the left here. You think you know what's going to happen in this game, and then bang, the tables turn. Knight c3 from Gukesh invites bishop b4, the razor sharp winnower, but Magnus goes knight f6, the classical, and surprisingly for Magnus, we go down a main line here. f4 from Gukesh, supporting e5, anticipating this critical break that black now makes. We get knight f3, knight c6, very natural, and bishop e3 covers the centre. Now I've drawn a bit of paint on the board here, gone a bit Bob Ross. These are some of the options for black, but Magnus goes with the main line. What is going on? Pawn to a6. We'll see the point, because after queen d2 he cracks on with this rapid expansion on the queen side. Gukesh now takes on c5. It is the main move. We get an exchange of dark squared bishops. This square could become tender later on. This is the trade-off for black. Now we get bishop d3, offering that one to be captured, but if you do, pawn takes back, covers e4. It's actually white that can build up a quick initiative. So Magnus instead activates his queen. It's a best move. He's still got this one in the pocket if he wants, and he stops white from castling. If you go this way with the king, very dangerous. So queen f2 is played, and it creates this pin. No more takes allowed, or you drop the lady. So b4 from Magnus. This knight drops back, looking to dominate this d4 square. How pleasant would that be? But Magnus carries on with his plans with a5. Very classic positional idea in the wings. We're gonna see it, because after castles, bishop a6 executed, and this is the notoriously bad French bishop now being exchanged for this one. Very nice, brought to life again like Frankenstein. And now Gukesh comes up with a move that is just fantastic, playing the world number one, you know, feeling a bit under pressure at this positional kind of mastery from Magnus. What does he do? He pushes on with pawn to f5, trying to rip open the black king here. Now this does seem to be some theory, but whether Gukesh knew all of this stuff, because after captures he then follows up with just a cracker. He decides that he's going to start with knight f4, pressuring the centre. Magnus drops back to cover, and then he doesn't play timidly, doesn't try and jump into this square or things of that nature. He offers the second pawn with pawn to e6. What a player, 16 years old, taking the fight to Magnus Carlsen. And if this one's captured, you know, a second pawn, well, you can actually crash through here. If the knight captures, well, let's go queen first, then you drop the knight. And if the knight takes, you drop the queen, it's unprotected. This is truly a special move. So Magnus goes f6. It is the best way, keeping lines closed. This is a nice blockader, also covering two pawns. And now rook a d1, the main move for white. Bring some pressure to bear down the half open file, but Gukesh goes into the tank and comes up with rook a to c1. Very fascinating idea, but not the most precise, because Magnus now just castles. We get pawn c3. This is Gukesh's point. He wants to rip open that c file. Yes, you can capture this bishop, something like this, but you can't take twice. Once again the queen drops, so that's why we get queen d6. Breaking the pin, truly threatening to take that bishop. Now Gukesh is forced to do this. Rook recaptures. He takes on b4 and opens up the rook and queen on that knight. This is his point. However, after knight e4, what a piece that is. We can see why Magnus never took off this bishop too soon. What a monster it's become here. Now we get queen e3. Magnus recaptures on b4. a2, very tender, like like a fillet steak and Magnus is a pawn ahead. This is looking ominous. What does Gukesh do? Well, he doesn't go passive. He hops with knight d4. Magnus wins a second pawn, but now knight b5, the queen centralizes. What a piece, like a black widow spider, shooting in all directions, but at least Gukesh gets the rook to the 7th heaven. He's pressuring this knight here, which is undefended, and guess what? Magnus blunders horrendously in this position. Test your skills. Can you find the best move for black? There's actually only one move which keeps black with this -3 advantage. 3 pawns better according to the engine. So the move that should be played is knight g6, but humanly not easy to do this, because after knight h5 you've got this big attack converging, but actually it's black that's doing great. You can plow on with f4. Yes, this happens, but the rook sidesteps, and then what? You have to come here, support your knight, which is attacked, but then knight g5 and queen g4 and f3, and actually it's black that's attacking with all of these pieces. The black king is safe enough here. The white one's got no clothes. So coming back, this is why Magnus didn't go knight g6. He went rook to e8, but watch the evaluation bar have a hernia here, right? Because it's now shot up to +7 for white if you find one and only one move. Once again, test your attacking skills. Can you find the idea? Well done if you came up with it. It's this incredible shot of queen to b6. And listen to this reaction from the commentary team. First, we've got Sagar Shah.
Whoa! What? Rook e8, massive blunder by Magnus Carlsen.
And now have a listen to Kaya. It's like a wild dog has escaped and run into the studio.
Oh!
Whoa!
What happened? Oh!
And that is not me calling Kaya a wild dog, just the noise that came out of her mouth. What a reaction there, everyone getting into it because the tables have flipped just like that. Magnus was winning, now dead lost. Why is it so bad? Well, let's look at the threat. Say you take this pawn here with the rook, keep the attack going. Well, now this is the problem. And after the rook recaptures, you land a check that isn't just picking up the rook, but actually checkmating. This pawn, a huge problem for black. So this is the big idea, followed by the queen here. And if the king defends, this is the second most beautiful point to the whole position. There's this incredible queen trap out of nowhere, knight d3, backwards retreating move, hitting the queen, covering the pawn, and every single square is covered. Such an unusual idea here to trap a queen in the center of the board like that on, move 26 or whatever it is. Really, really incredible. So this doesn't work. Nothing works. What to do, right? Now we see knight g5 from Magnus just desperately trying to give a piece and go for some kind of attack because this one's now taken, of course. This not possible. So Magnus does this, but it is just not working out because queen c7 comes from Gukesh. He's about to crash through here, and if the ladies leave the board, well, knight recaptures or rook, take your pick, and black is just a minor piece down for not nearly enough compensation. So Magnus chucks in a spike check, king h1 from Gukesh, and here Magnus Carlsen resigns the game. The young man Gukesh beats the world #1 and does incredibly well in general in this tournament in the early standings. What a player he's on track to be. If you enjoyed, smash subscribe. Another great Magnus game coming later. Oh, and for those wondering why I didn't do some videos the last few days, I had to pop on a trip, couple of days away, but I'm back and at it. Good to be back, and do see this video on screen for another epic game of chess. Cheers.